Welcome to the Online Course Design Series, your step-by-step guide to building an effective and engaging online course. Whether you're starting from scratch or giving your class a total makeover, this video series will walk you through everything you need to know, one piece at a time. No fluff, no theory dumps, just clear, practical help to get your course up and running. Hi there, I'm Dr. Beaker. This semester, I've been given a new challenge. I'm building my very first online course. Now, don't get me wrong, I've taught for years. I know my subject like the back of my hand. But teaching online, that's a different beast. At first, I thought I'd just upload some lectures, add a few quizzes, and call it a day. But then I started learning more about things like alignment, accessibility, student engagement, and the exemplary course program rubric. I realized, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. Not just for my students, but for me. I want to be proud of this course. I'd even love to submit it for a Catalyst Award, but like a lot of folks, I had one big question to start. Where do I even begin? I found my answer in a single idea. Clear, measurable course-level objectives. These are simple statements about what students will be able to do by the end of your course. Not what you'll cover, not what they'll read, what they'll actually do. For me, that changed everything. I realized if I could figure out where I wanted students to end up, I could build a path to get them there. To help you follow along, I created a tool called the Course Objective Builder. It's a simple activity sheet that matches this video and gives you space to write, revise, and finalize your own objectives as we go. I'll describe each part as we use it, so don't worry about figuring it out on your own. You might want to open that now and have it ready. Here's an example from the course I was working on, Introduction to Communication. At first, I wrote, "Students will understand how communication works in the real world." Sounds fine, right? But here's the thing. I couldn't grade understand. The word understand isn't wrong. It just doesn't tell me what to look for. It doesn't help me build an assignment or write a rubric. So I asked myself, if my students do understand communication, how would they show it? That helped me revise it to apply communication strategies in personal and professional settings. Now that is something I can see, assess, and provide feedback on. That's an objective I can build lessons around. Let's go step by step. Use your course objective builder to follow along. Step 1. Brainstorm. What do you want your students to be able to do by the end of your course? This is the first section on your worksheet. You'll see several blank lines. That's where you'll jot down 2 to 4 goals in plain language. They don't need to be perfect yet. Here's what I started with. Understand communication theory. Apply communication skills. Learn about different communication styles. Go ahead and pause the video if you want to take a few minutes to complete that section. In step 2, make it measurable. Let's go back and check for vague, fuzzy verbs. Words like understand, learn about, or know. These don't tell us what the student will actually do. To write measurable objectives, we need to use verbs that describe specific, observable behaviors. And one of the best tools for doing that is something called Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a framework used to classify learning goals by how complex they are. It organizes thinking into 6 levels, from the simplest to the most advanced. The first level is remember. This is where students recall facts or basic information. Next is understand. Students explain ideas in their own words. Then comes apply. This is about using knowledge in real-world situations. Analyze is next. Students break information down into parts and look at how things relate. Evaluate means making informed judgments based on criteria. And finally, create. This is where students combine ideas to make something entirely new. Each of these levels matches with certain action verbs you can use when writing objectives. For example, if I want my students to show understanding, I might ask them to describe or explain something in their own words. If I want them to apply what they've learned, I might have them demonstrate a skill or solve a problem. For analysis, I could ask them to compare 2 ideas or examine a process in detail. To evaluate, I might ask them to justify a position or critique a scenario. And if I want them to create something new, I could have them design a plan or develop a project. There's a handout that comes with this video called the Bloom's Taxonomy Objective Guide. It lists these levels along with dozens of verbs you can use to write your own measurable objectives. Keep it handy while you work. It's a great reference. Now let me show you how I revised my own list, just like you'll be doing in the worksheet. I started with Understand Communication Theory and changed it to Describe Key Communication Theories. I took Apply Communication Skills and made it more specific by saying Apply communication strategies in real-life scenarios. And instead of Learn about different communication styles, I wrote Analyze how different communication styles impact conversations. These are much clearer. They're focused, action-based, and, most importantly, measurable. Now it's your turn. Open your course objective builder to the section labeled Step 2. Make it measurable. You'll see a space to write your original objective and a line below it for your improved version. Use your Bloom's handout to help you find a stronger verb if you're stuck. Pause the video if you need to and take your time revising each one. When you're ready, we'll move on. In the last section of the worksheet, titled Step 3, Final Objectives, you'll find a numbered list. That's where you'll write your final, polished course-level objectives. Here's my final list. By the end of this course, students will be able to 1. Describe key communication theories. 2. Apply communication strategies in personal and professional settings. 3. Analyze how different communication styles impact conversations. These are measurable and aligned with what I want students to walk away with. Pause here if you need time to finalize yours. This isn't just busy work. These objectives will help you focus each lesson of your course, build assessments that actually connect to your goals, and align your course with national standards like the Exemplary Course Program rubric. By writing measurable course objectives, you're directly meeting Standard 1.1, Goals and Objectives, which requires course objectives to be clearly stated, measurable, and aligned with activities and assessments. And once those objectives are in place, you're well on your way to supporting other rubric standards, like Standard 2.1, Instructional Materials, which asks that materials clearly relate to the learning objectives. Standard 3.1, Assessment Strategies, which ensures assessments are aligned with your stated goals, and Standard 6.1, Alignment, which evaluates how well everything, objectives, materials, activities, and assessments, connects together. Writing strong objectives is the first step in making all of that possible. In the next video, I'll take these big picture objectives and break them down into weekly lesson goals. That way, I can make sure each week has a clear purpose and stays aligned with my overall course. So don't stop here. Save your objectives, because you'll use them to guide every lesson, every assessment, and every activity moving forward. Thanks for taking this first step with me. We're just getting started, and I'm glad to have you along for the journey.